Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. That was pretty interesting. Thanks. I think we learned data is key, right? And I think our presentation is also based on, data, interconnectivity. So we're going to look into how, the retailers are going to keep a pace of agility in this era of digital, right? Where everyone is a moving part. Everything is moving part. Right? Now, the customers are expecting a very unified shopping experience across the channel, no matter what the touch points are. And what our finding is, working with one of our prestigious and esteemed brand, Forever New, is that no matter what robust systems you have, you need to get them connected, right? Because unless and until you are connected, you are not going to deliver that experience, right? And for this particular scenario, we have got certain systems like OMS, WMS, ERPs, e-commerce, which we have got connected. What I would also like to do is invite on stage Mr. Zaid Ansari, who is the VP IT, and worked with us. Zaid and his team worked with us hand in hand. So welcome to the stage, Zaid. We together will, as possible, as interestingly, take you through this journey, that what we have done, what we have achieved, and etc. Now, this is our agenda. I'll not bore you too much, but we'll basically give you an overview of the brands, and we'll talk about the, the earlier systems, what the challenges, to-be systems, and what the benefits are. We'll take you through a little bit of philosophy of Ayata, which we believe, how do we deliver to achieve the desired results. We'll also talk about, very interestingly, the industry findings. What the industry is talking about when we talk about, asynchronous-based middleware integration. So about Forever New, established in 1975 in Melbourne, out of Australia. Quite old brand, as you all know. Very effortlessly wearable and timeless, fashionable collection in apparels, and which celebrates, modern femininity, right? They are operating in around 25 countries and with around 400 plus stores. That's what the data says. Talking about Ayata, we were pretty new. Born in 2016 out of UK Bracknell as our HQ. Of course, we have 2 big centers and a couple of offices in India. Starting that journey, we became a very trusted partner in omni-channel strategy as an advisor. As services or as areas, we are specialized in integration services. We're specialized in omni-channel CXM and supply chain management. We also get into the strategies which helps you to achieve those experiences that we are talking about in today's world, right? What are the values, most importantly, we carry? We have deep retail industry expertise in specific countries, like in India, or we have that, talking to the industry leaders and working with them. We are always focused on business goals. That's what we are focused on, right? We believe that technology is a business enabler, and we believe in our philosophy, whatever we do, right? We also, are a technology agnostic company. For us, as I said, technology enables business, not the other way around. And we always believe in a collaborative approach. Those are values to us. Now, what I would like to hand over to Zahid to take us through the evolution of retail and the systems and the advantages and disadvantages. Over to you, Zahid.
All right. Thank you, Sandeep. Sorry for slightly hustle voice. I'm not too frequently coming on the stage and talking. So as Sandeep mentioned, I had IT for Forever New. I've been in the industry for more than 20 years, managing IT for large consumer producing companies. Forever New is the current stint. I've been there for last 3 years. What I actually wanted to talk about in the next few slides, how retail has evolved specifically in India, not just about Forever New, but in general, how retail has evolved, how the journey has started with we were singles, so around 10, 15 years back. We all know that there was only a single channel. When the online gets added in around 2020s, you had online channels, then mobile comes into the picture. Later on, you become, in fact, during the COVID time, we learned the value of cross channels, and there was no other choice. You have to sell multiple channels, cross channels, to remain or to survive in the industry. And we now know the importance of omni-channel. We know that customer is not specific to any channels. The journey can start or initiate from online. It can close offline, or it can be vice versa also. Now, if you see how the technology has supported this evaluation, uh, on this slide, if you see, there are the sales channels. You have shop, you have online, you have mobile, you have marketplaces, you have social media as well. It is also contributing to adding more sales. You have front-end applications, and then you have back-end systems through which you process. Now, when you was single channel, you have limited systems. Primarily, POS is saving your sales information into your ERP or maybe in one or two more systems. So it is very point-to-point, very easy to maintain. When you add more channels, slightly more applications comes into the picture. It was still manageable. But during the COVID time, when we wanted to do a cross-sale, like, the customer buying online, but you are fulfilling the order from a store or from a different warehouse, that's where the complexity has started coming in. You are adding more complexities, more channels. You wanted to build analytics on top of that. Now you wanted to, now then the marketplace comes into the picture. And now it is not just one marketplace. There are many marketplaces. You wanted to sell on all the channels. Now, how would you process all this information? The orders are coming from everywhere. You wanted to utilize the inventory kept everywhere and make it available to the customer. And you also wanted to build analytics and all. So the technology has supported, but the architecture, this is where I actually wanted to focus on. The architecture becomes very, very complex. And most of us, because I interact with a lot of counterparts in different companies, the entire industry is facing with this challenge. How do you support the business? How do you support the scale? How do you support the flexibility? Because we all are actually caught into this kind of an architecture, which is very difficult, which has become point to point. If you see all these lines reflects that's how your front application is connected with your backend applications. So this kind of setup is called peer-to-peer, point-to-point, a monolithic architecture. The drawbacks, it's limited scalability. It's very difficult to scale and support the business expansion plans. Data is available in silos. It is very channel specific. Inflexibility in integrations. Integration is a nightmare. And then inefficient customer experience. If a customer has placed order and you don't know whether the order is processed or not, the order is lost, customers, it's a very inefficient systems, and you obviously have a high maintenance cost because every time you add or remove a channel, you'll have to build your integrations again and again. So the solution for that is the modern architecture, which is called a digital architecture. In this architecture, you build, so that's the desired one. You build an experience management platform for your front-end applications, which is consumer facing, and you decoupled your integrations and your logic from your front-end application. So you build an additional layer, which is called a middleware in simplest terms. And it is called decoupled because you are removing the intelligence, the logical part from your front-end applications. And on side, you build your analytical capability. So this simplifies your architecture. Sandeep, if you can move next. So the next slide will explain this further. That in the decoupling layer, you build your own API interface, which I was talking about as adding a middleware in between. And your middleware is then connected with your backend applications. So scaling becomes easy. So when you add new channels, it becomes very easy to add or do the integrations with just the middleware, not with all the application, but with just the middleware. And then your middleware handles all the logic. It's like putting a heart to a human body. Heart is like pulling the data and feeding data to many other applications. The advantages are scalability and flexibility. It's very quick to add new channels, remove new channels, unified data ecosystems. You're breaking down the silos. Data is available as a side layer. Streamline integrations. It's easier to integrate, as I said, new channels. Enhance customer experience, better customer experience, and obviously lower maintenance cost. Now to build this kind of, so the reason I actually explained these challenges and the solution is that building that middleware is not that an easy task because you are actually disrupting your whole ecosystem, your whole business, because it is coming exactly in the middle. And you need a very strong integration partner or a tech partner, you need to do that. This is where Ayata is helping us. So we are on the journey. It is not yet completed, but we are pretty happy with the AyataCommerce, and that is where I'm here today with Sandeep. Over to you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Zaid. And Zaid said, AyataCommerce, you need a strong partner, so you need to deliver on that expectation, right? And these philosophies are, or these signs, these frameworks really are helping us to deliver to the expectation, right? So on top of us, on top of mind, which we engage in most of our engagements with our business partners or brands, is our commerce connected philosophy. So this is a framework which basically connects the data, the people, the processes across all the channels or touch points, and to create that unified, personalized, and continuous engagement for each and every customer who is touching your brand. We are also utilizing a couple of frameworks like digital domain framework, for example, because here, if you have realized from what Zaid's presented, the domain is all about customer experience as well as a couple of backends. So we have utilizing this framework to understand that where that particular domain maturity lies and where we need to move on, right? Similarly, for example, we are also using the merchant maturity model. What I mean is that Forever New as a brand, where they are, right, at present. And we are utilizing that to find out the gaps. And I have one slide where we have kind of suggested some of the next, moves for the brand or for Forever New, right, to achieve or to meet to the expectations of their customers, digitally empowered customers. So we believe in this philosophy very strongly, that services are experiences are journeys, and so journeys must be designed. So on the left-hand side, if you have got those kind of scenarios, we have worked with a lot of retailers around the world. We tend to move from the top left to the right bottom, right? And that's where I said in the beginning, we believe in the collaborative approach. Yeah, I just tend to spend a few minutes on this very interesting and important slide. This is about our learning. This is not the learning only with Forever New, but this is us as a brand at AyataCommerce learning from the industry, that what are the different advantages that a brand can achieve, right? Of course, limitation on the slide, I cannot include each and everything, but there are some significant benefits which a brand can achieve going on the line of asynchronous middleware-based integration. Now, the first one is, of course, it elevates your customer experience. It's a no-brainer, right? So you have your customers' wish list, you have your customers' past purchase pattern, offline, online purchase, and etc. And coupled with that, if you can do a beautiful integration, having the in-moment data or the in-moment experience of your customer in that particular channel at that particular time, you can have a 360-degree view of your customer. And at the end of the day, you can create that unified personalized experience. Our data says that if you do it right, it results in 45% increase in customer satisfaction and 38% customer retention. The next category or the next advantage, if you see, is the optimized inventory and supply chain. Now, because your data is connected, you can have automated the reorder levels in your system, which will help you kind of to avoid stock out or overstock kind of situations. And because the data is available 360-degree, and we work on the supply chain areas also, you can actually enable more accurate demand forecasting. In fact, in India, I'm talking to a lot of brands, and what we're observing is that demand sensing is creeping up, is coming up at a pretty steady stage, particularly in fashion retail or in commodities retail, like grocery, for an example. And if you need the data, so you can actually decrease 25% of out of stock, and you can utilize your inventory turnover around 30% more. The third one which you look, it's again a no-brainer. You can actually, and we have been talking through the presentation, what we're doing in Forever New is enable that real retailing, right? Across the channel, unified, seamless, consistent journey. So you can have phenomena like mixed basket, buy online pickup, ship to home, ship to store, etc. Right? And that's how you can combine online and offline shopping. You're talking about a unicommerce phenomena, not even omni-channel actually. The fourth one, if you see very interestingly, is yeah, that's our industry data says around 89% average customer retention rate, vis-a-vis only 33% for those retailers who have not actually got real integrated omni-channel retailing. The fourth one which we are talking about is the streamlined operations. You can have automated processes because again the systems are connected. You might have invested in workflows, you must have invested in process management, but if it is not holistically connected, you cannot achieve approximately 65% of process automation, and that's possible only when you go and do a real-time integration with the systems. Next one is very important, and you will agree with me being retailers in this room, your employee retention, employee productivity, right? So you need to empower, sometimes you keep best of the skill sets, but then you need to kind of empower your employees with a lot of knowledge, and that's where they can do better clienteling, effective assisted selling, as well as automate task scheduling by the managers. And our data says if you do that, around 43% productivity increases, right? Next one is actionable insights. So you have the data sync aggregations, and for that you can take better real-time decisions, 2.5 times more, right? And then, sorry. Yeah.
And then you're running out of time.
I know. I'll just quick up. Last one is sustained growth. So when you achieve all of these, you are basically moving towards sustained growth, right? I know I'm out of time, so I'll not too much dwell into it. So these are some of the recommendations from our side to the retailers. Please look into the in-store availability on your website, very important. Or click and collect, expected delivery, enhanced cross-channel, social commerce integration, or an improved on-site search. We are really lagging most of the retailers, allow me to say that, and I'm not being offensive to anyone. We need to look in contextual search and etc. a lot, right? With that, I would like to end my presentation. If I have 2 minutes on that.
You have enough time for jury questions.
Sure. Okay. Your mic.
Yeah. So I think one thing that I wanted to understand is what is the differentiation that you are creating from? There are a lot of players in this space, right? What is the differentiation? One unique differentiation that you are creating here is what I wanted to understand.
Okay. So if you remember the slide when I was talking about the framework, so that framework is our differentiator. And this is the feedback given to us by the customer. So what I mean those framework, I don't have time to take it through. But that framework, we go reverse from the business ROIs to the technologies. So we do not come as a pure technology player. As I said, we have got deep retail knowledge, SMEs knowledge, business knowledge. So we really try to understand from the business challenge or the business problem. And then we attempt to go to the technology. So for us, technology is the last layer that we go and address, and we enable that through those frameworks. That's what we do. That's our real differentiator.
Okay. I don't think any technology player will be able to develop a technology without understanding the business nuances. So I beg to differ there.
Okay,
but
sure.
That's okay. I can have a long discussion with you around
Sure.
that. How are you ensuring scalability of the solution? Because this business is scaling up and down every day. And with the peak periods, especially for the store experience as well, this is becoming more and more. And how are you ensuring that the employee is more connected and they are doing this on a continuous basis?
Yeah, so again, if there was one or two frameworks were there which talk about the data maturity as well as the process maturity. So we see from a technology enabler or from a process enabler perspective, we have the control to talk on the process, to talk on the data. But yes, we have got players, we have got retailers like Forever New is helping us with a lot of infrastructure, for an example. as well as the right skill set in-house also, right? So it's a mix of everything. So we as a player have got a play to part, which we are doing, and that's why I said we do a collaborative approach, right? And that's where the next part we also depend on them. Yeah.
So follow-up to his question was, how do you define ROI and how are you measuring it?
Okay, so first of all, allow me to say it, the business defines the ROI. So what I mean is that the business has a goal, right? So for example, Zahid wanted to give us a goal that give, post my this integrations for an example, right? There has to be certain pattern of lesser number of maintenance in terms of peer-to-peer connectivity, right? There has to be a data accuracy to certain level when your integrations, or your calls between the interface layer should not fall beyond 99.9% for an example. So those are the ROIs from a technical perspective. Similarly, there are some business ROIs which were there also as resultant of this. For example, order reconciliation, just an example, okay? So those ROIs were given, or the goals were given to us. And then when we did a test drive as part of this project, and the resultant we showed to the team of Forever New, and only when that was, because it was a kind of a POC or a POV, as you can understand, there's a permissible value range which was attained, and after that only then we started the actual project. So that's the methodology we did. We kind of walk the talk.
Sandeep, if I can add,
Yeah, please.
for us, ROI is linked with how quickly we are able to fulfill the orders, how quickly, what is our customer satisfaction rate. I mean, it is linked to all that. Not just the technology investment, but it is also linked with customer experience and all that thing.
So my question was not related only to technology. It was more towards business angle.
Yeah, maybe I can actually sit with you, to answer it separately because we don't have too much of time.
Yeah.